4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show, the Friday edition. And we have breaking news out of LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. A gunman shot and killed a TSA, a Transportation Security Administration worker at LAX. The gunman is in custody. He was wounded by police. From what we know, it happened at Terminal 3. It happened this morning. And here's what we know. The gunman acted alone. There was a press conference that's being held right now. It's almost over. We learned that about 7 people have been treated after the shooting. A TSA agent, as mentioned, is killed. Another wounded. They believe the gunman acted alone. He walked up to the screening area or the security desk and pulled out a concealed AK-47. So they say. He shot the TSA agent. He went through the checkpoint. He continued shooting into the screening area where he was shot by a police officer. There is a report out of L.A. That the suspect himself might have been an off-duty TSA officer. No confirmation on that. We have 1 TSA agent killed, 1 wounded. And joining us right now is Mark Henry. Mark and his wife are eyewitnesses to what took place. Hello, Mark, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. The question is, you. How are you? How are you? And how's your wife?
I'm shaken up.
Yeah, we're both obviously still pretty shaken up, but I mean, we were right there. Just our belongings were on the belt, just going through the TSA checkpoint, which was up one flight. Well, actually, there's an escalator that goes up to it. So we were up 1 floor from where we heard all of the gunshots. It sounded like the gunshots were right at the base of the escalator. So, yeah, it was a real scary scene there this morning for sure.
So explain it to us. So, most people, we pull up in a car or a cab and someone drops us off at the curb, and then you could either check your bags at the curb or you go inside and check them and you wait online. So tell us where you were and where the shooting took place.
Well, we came in and we checked in, and then we walked down to get to the screening, which we had to take an escalator up to the next floor. We checked our bags, and like I said, we waited in line, and we got all the way up to the front where we were just putting all of our belongings on the belt to go through the screening process, and that's when we heard about 8 shots. Right, just in a row, bang, bang, bang. And then we all kind of hit the deck, and the shots were coming from the lower floor, which, seemed to be at the base of the escalators. And we weren't sure if the suspect was going to come up the escalator or not, so we all just, we fled the scene, and we rushed through the TSA checkpoint into the gate area. And we ran all the way down Terminal 3, and then we went through one of the terminal gate doors, actually like where you would board an aircraft, and went down onto the tarmac. And we ran all the way over to Terminal 2, and my wife only has 1 shoe. I mean, her ID, everything was left back there. My briefcase, all that stuff was left on the TSA belt. We literally ran for our lives.
What were you I mean, obviously, you don't know how many gunmen there are. You don't know, like you said, whether or not the gunman's going to come up the escalator. So you're just, I mean, I think I believe you had said that it was like a dream, like you thought it was, was it slow motion? What was it like?
Well, there's no dream. It's a nightmare. Yeah, exactly. This is like something you'd see in a movie, man. I mean, it was playing out real time, and it was a real scary situation for sure.
And how were the authorities at all? I mean, was there any coordination, any comfort at any point, or was it, total, every man for himself, kind of run, chaos?
Yeah, that's what was kind of interesting, and I've asked a few reporters here this morning if it was my understanding that all the TSA agents were armed, but I'm not sure of that. But all the TSA agents that were surrounding us were running in front of us. I would think that they would kind of, provide some cover, or there's got to be somebody in that screening area that is armed. I mean, I would think they would be, providing cover on somebody coming up that escalator that has a weapon to, kind of shut them down at the path.
Right. No, I don't believe they are all armed. As a matter of fact, one of our workers here, in the control room, said that a relative of his was a TSA worker, and they're not all armed at all.
Oh, they are not. Okay. Well, I'm sure that at that checkpoint, there's got to be, at least one or two that are armed.
I would like to think so. We're talking to Mark Henry. He and his wife were caught up in the chaos as the gunman shot his way past screeners at LAX with an assault rifle. One TSA agent killed, another wounded, and 7 people treated or taken to hospitals. So what's the situation like now? Where are you? Are you waiting to be interviewed by authorities, or are you free to go, or what?
Yeah, but he didn't. The gunman didn't shoot his way past screeners. He never got through the screening process.
Oh, he didn't?
No. He
was on ground level.
He was on the ground level, like he walked in from the curb, and we were up one floor going through the screening process.
Okay, so he never got. Okay, so the police officer shot and wounded him at what point, would you say?
Well, I would say it was probably at the base of the escalators on your way up to the screening process where we were at.
So he just walked in off the street basically as anybody could, didn't actually get through any security point, but when he shot the TSA agent, did he not progress beyond that point? Or was the TSA, where was the TSA agent that he shot, as far as you know? What was he doing?
He was on the first level, on ground level.
Doing what? Was he at any checkpoint or no?
I don't know. We weren't down there to visually see. But, I mean, like I said, you can walk in off the street.
Right.
And do whatever before you go through the screening process, which is up on the second floor, and that's where we were. So what went on down there, like I said, we just heard about 8 gunshots ring out, and we hit the deck, and then we figured we better get on out of there, and that's exactly what we did.
And the gunshots were in rapid succession?
Yeah. There was about 8 initially that just went, rapid fire.
And where is your luggage now, and where are you guys now? Like I asked, are you free to go, or you have to get questioned, or what?
No, the whole airport, this side of the airport's still all locked down. Our luggage is all at the TSA counter, right where we left it. We just left everything and ran for our lives.
We're in Terminal 1.
And right now we're in Terminal 1 just sitting around with everybody else waiting for them to clear the airport.
Right. Well, listen, I hear Audrey, and I'm glad that both of you are okay. And thank you for taking the time to fill us in. I really appreciate it. Have a rest of where are you headed to, by the way, or where are you coming from? What's the deal with you guys on the itinerary?
Yeah, we're heading to the Process Expo show in Chicago. It's a meat processing show.
All right.
Great show.
Well, have a safe journey the rest of the way, you two. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that's Mark Henry. He and his wife, as I mentioned, caught up in what took place at LAX earlier today. A gunman shooting and killing a TSA worker. There had been reports that the shooting happened at a screening station where the flyers show their IDs, and that the gunman then went a little bit further. But not according to the eyewitness. But nonetheless, we do have 1 TSA agent killed, 1 wounded, and 7 people treated. So that's the extent. The shooter is in custody and is in police custody after being wounded by a police officer who stopped any further attack. All right, folks, we move on. And when we come back, there's a man who we've talked about before in this show. He works for the Department of Homeland Security as an advisor on Obama's advisory committee. Wait till you hear the things he's saying about America, about a Jewish reporter, and about Christians. It's an outrage. We'll bring it to you right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
I used to sleep like a baby. Now I have to get up in the middle of the night just to go to the bathroom. And not just once.
Men, if you suffer from frequent urination, the inability to empty your bladder, a hesitant urine stream, or leaking due to an aging prostate, listen to this. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes this does not need to be an inevitable part of aging. After extensive research, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. For complete details, visit prostaterevive.com/offer. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. Learn how you can try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/offer. Hurry, limited time offer. That's prostaterevive.com/offer.
150 million people suffer from headaches. All you want is for the pounding in your head to stop. Migralex stops the pounding. Migralex was developed by a neurologist and founder of the New York Headache Center.
I'm neurologist Dr. Alex Malzberg. After studying and researching the human brain for 25 years, I've developed Migralex, which eliminates pounding headaches. It works for my patients, and I'm so convinced it will work for you. I don't just guarantee it, I put my name on it.
Dr. Malzberg's Migralex gets rid of headaches fast without harsh caffeine, sodium, or preservatives.
Migralex works unbelievably fast, and it's gentle on my stomach.
Find out how to get your free bottle of Migralex. Call 800-532-2967. Plus, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you'll also receive the Migralex Quick Tips to Headache Relief absolutely free. That's 800-532-2967. Or go to migralexrelief.com. MIGRALEX relief.com. Or call 800-532-2967.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Where can you find the Steve Malzberg Show? Everywhere. From your smartphone to satellite radio to Newsmax Live TV to Roku, we have you covered. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, moving right along as we do here on the Steve Malzberg Show. By the way, Bill Crystal, the founder and editor of the Weekly Standard, will join us later in this hour. First time that we'll have the pleasure of having Mr. Crystal on with us, so I'm looking forward to that. But let us talk about something. A story came to my attention yesterday, and I think it was through the website, clarionproject.org. And joining us now from the Clarion Project is security expert Ryan Morrow. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
It's always good to talk to you, Ryan. Okay, so, I think the last time we spoke, I threw out Mohammed Al-Bari, his name, because he had been doing some terrible things, in my opinion, saying some horrific things. And this guy has a position where, I didn't realize he had his own security company, but Obama named him to a Homeland Security Advisory Committee. And the latest travesty, yesterday, he's tweeting out, while admitting that no country treats Muslims better than the United States, he also said that the United States is a Muslim country and that it's Sharia compliant. I mean, how does this guy, when you couple it with the other things he's done, such as saying to Aaron Klein, who writes for WND, that he looks Jewish when he's on Fox News, and blaming the Christians in Egypt for their own persecution, for antagonizing the Muslims, how does this guy go under the radar or stay under the radar and stay on that Homeland Security Advisory Committee?
Well, the reason is because it hasn't become an issue. He's not yet a liability for the Obama administration because the media doesn't seem to care. But there's so much here that it's hard to summarize, but I'll try to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Senior advisor to the Department of Homeland Security, he tweeted yesterday saying that America is an Islamic country. He didn't say that just that America treats Muslims well or that Muslims live in the United States. He said America is an Islamic country. And the reason that is so important is when you consider his background. It seems like whenever he wakes up in the morning, the first thing he does is he says, how can I defend the Muslim Brotherhood? Because if you look at his Twitter page, there is no topic that he devotes more attention to than the Muslim Brotherhood cause. And we know that since the age of 16, he has had ties with American members of the Muslim Brotherhood, including one who mentored him, who is now in jail for financing Hamas.
Well, again, so it's only a matter of. I've sent all these stories and last night's as well to a congressman. That actually one of the press secretaries for one of the congressmen, who I would hope would have reason to want to pursue this. It's just outrageous on its face. The remarks. Saying that. The United States is an Islamic country, and again saying that that they're Sharia compliant and all that kind of stuff, and that's going to be the eventuality. That you could almost chalk up to opinion. But like you said, his support for the Brotherhood, his condemning of Christians for causing their own supposedly causing their own persecution as cops in Egypt, and this from Aaron Klein at WND, tweeting Aaron Klein that he displays a Jewish demeanor when he's a guest on Fox News. This guy needs to be kicked the heck out of any part of our government immediately.
Sure, those of us that have studied the Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamist cause for a long time have wondered why has the Obama administration pursued a pro-Muslim Brotherhood policy. And I think this provides some of the answers to those questions. Because if you look at the other things I've tweeted out that we've reported on at clarionproject.org, he says that Mohamed Morsi, the former president of Egypt, is Egypt's Nelson Mandela. He says that the Muslim Brotherhood is essentially the Muslim equivalent of Christian evangelicals. And you see his beliefs being put into action, not just in foreign policy, but also in domestic policy, because he says that he has helped safeguard groups that were threatened with prosecution, and his beliefs are very apparent in the revised training guidelines that the Department of Homeland Security made for counterterrorism personnel. And if those guidelines are followed, we are going to have an entire generation of counterterrorism personnel that don't even know that the American branch of the Muslim Brotherhood exists.
Talk about those revised rules and training procedures.
If you read the quotes from the revised Department of Homeland Security training guidelines, you would think it's a hoax. You would think it's something from The Onion. But amazingly, what it explicitly says is that counterterrorism personnel should not be taught about the American Muslim Brotherhood, that they should not be taught or use trainers that say that mainstream Muslim American organizations have ties to overseas Islamic political groups, which they do. They say that you can't learn about lawfare, the use of the democratic system in order to advance the Islamist cause, that you can't equate the advocating of Sharia law with criminal activity. So you basically cannot learn about the Islamist cause at all. You can only learn about the specific Al-Qaeda member that is going to set off a bomb, and that's it.
Absolutely. And I did. Where did I read last night that that the government is now on the lookout and considers a threat, a big threat from, I think it's white, Christian, heterosexual males. I don't know what department that was in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, that was from the Department of Homeland Security, and basically they're warning about the threat from white supremacist males. Now, it's one thing to
But they didn't call it that. They called them white, heterosexual, Christian males who are advantaged as opposed to minorities, disadvantaged, gay, the everything polar opposite.
Right, but what they're insinuating is a threat from white supremacists, but the way they described it is really ridiculous, and it didn't include specific intelligence. It's one thing if you have specific intelligence about a white supremacist terrorist attack that's about to occur, or supremacist terrorist activity that's happening in general, and then you issue a memo. But when you issue these politically correct guidelines that just don't make sense, all it does is make counterterrorism personnel feel worried about the idea that they're going to be accused of being racist or being anti-Muslim bigots when they do their job.
Right, and they'll back off. That's human nature. Hey, Ryan Morrow, national security expert, clarionproject.org. Check that out, folks, early and often, because you'll find out all about this and more. Thanks, Ryan. We're going to stay on top of this El Biari guy. And we're not going to let this go. And Ryan will be a big part of that. On the Steve Malzberg Show, when we come back, Dr. David Samadi joins us on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit prostaterevive.com/special for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. While supplies last, try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's LIMBEX joint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
When you were younger, you probably never considered your heart health. But cardiologist Dr. Chauncey Crandall knows from experience that taking steps to care for your heart becomes more crucial as the decades pass, if you want to keep this vital organ ticking smoothly for years to come. That's why Dr. Crandall recently developed Cardio Advanced, a nutritional supplement containing 12 special ingredients, all selected to help improve and maintain your heart health and normal cholesterol levels. The flagship of this exclusive formula, esterified plant sterols, may help lower your risk of heart disease when taken as part of a diet low in cholesterol and fat. And great news. Now, you have the opportunity to try a 30-day supply of Cardio Advanced. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act right now, you'll also receive a free doctor's guide to a healthy heart as a special bonus. Please visit cardioadvanced.com/radio for complete details on claiming your 30-day bottle of Cardio Advanced and free report. That's cardioadvanced.com/radio. Life is too precious to ignore your heart health. Visit cardioadvanced.com/radio now while supplies last.
Do you have a motorized wheelchair or scooter that needs repairs and you don't know where to turn? Then call the experts at Precision Repair Network. They are the specialists in repairing all makes and models of motorized wheelchairs and scooters. You can call 24/7 and they will come to you anywhere in the United States. They'll give you a loaner to use until they return yours in perfect condition. And your repairs may be covered by your Medicare or your private insurance, so there is little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. If your wheelchair or scooter needs repairs, call this special hotline now and learn how you can get door-to-door service on your repairs at little or no cost to you. Precision Repair Network. They'll get you moving again. Operators are ready to take your call right now. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. That's 800-978-4813.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. How many of us turn to antibiotics when we're sick and when we need antibiotics? I mean, antibiotics, one of the greatest inventions of all time, to steal a line from Muhammad Ali. Anyway, now there's a story, according to a top CDC expert, that we've reached the end. We've reached the end of antibiotics. He says that miracle drugs, quote unquote, that have saved millions are no match against superbugs because people have over-medicated themselves. And we await the arrival of Dr. David Samadi, chairman of urology and chief of robotic surgery at Lenox Hill Hospital. You watch him at house calls every weekend on the Fox News channel on Sundays. And what I want to say to him, and I'm sure he'll agree with me, is it's not just when we take antibiotics, we we also eat them when we don't know we're eating them. It's in our food supply. It's in chicken. It's in fish. And we're pumping ourselves full of antibiotics. And now we're reaching a point, although this CDC expert sort of implies that we have reached the point where now we're going to have problems going forward and that there really are no new antibiotics on the horizon. So once the bacteria figure out a way to fight what we're giving people to combat them, then we're up a creek, if you know what I mean, without a paddle. Yeah, so that's one story we'll be talking about. Another story we'll be talking about with Dr. Samadi. We switched from, we turned the clock back. I guess it's daylight savings time. We're switching from it. I don't even know what they call it. Who cares? But you turn the clock back. So theoretically, you're getting an extra hour of sleep. But there's this whole big thing, try some simple steps to get more sleep. I remember when we turned the clock forward in spring, every year it's the obligatory story about, you're going to lose an hour of sleep. And the day after that, more people get heart attacks. And I'm like, what? I never get any sleep. Now, God, please, God forbid anything happens to me. But do you get the same amount of sleep every night? Who goes to sleep the same time, gets the same amount of sleep, uninterrupted? And so why heart attacks would go up when they turn the clock back the next day and you lose an hour of sleep? If I had to sleep the same amount of hours every night, man, would I be in trouble. Big trouble. I'm usually on the computer, looking for guests and doing sound and communicating with our fine producers from the show at that hour of the night, a late hour of the night, later than I want to admit. So I want to talk to David Samadi about that. Even turning the clock back, they're saying produces some kind of jet lag effect for people. I just think I don't see how 1 hour does it. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Then, and by the way, you want to weigh in on this? You want to weigh in on any of this? You afraid of the antibiotic deal? How about turning the clock back or forward? Does it affect you? When you lose an hour of sleep, when you turn the clock back in the spring, do you feel, oh my gosh, oh, I'm so tired? Do you know anybody who, God forbid, got really sick the next day? I mean, that's insane. I don't even know how what that theory is all about. And phosphorus. There's a study out of Johns Hopkins University. I know someone in the control room who had drinks with Johnny Hopkins once. Out of Johns Hopkins University, there's a report that if you lose belly fat and limit processed foods and other sources of dietary phosphorus, you could reduce your risk of kidney disease and probably other illnesses as well. Phosphorus is added to many processed foods. It gives them flavor. It extends the shelf life. And high levels of phosphorus are also naturally found in animal, dairy, and vegetable protein. So they took 500 overweight or obese adults, and they enrolled in a healthy lifestyle program, and they found that if you shrink your waistline and lower consumption of dietary phosphorus, it's associated with reduced levels of protein in the urine, which could be an early sign of kidney disease if you have the protein in the urine. So those are the topics we're looking to cover. Now, let me tell you a little personal story. For those of you watching at Newsmax TV, I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm not standing up. I'm sitting down. But, you know, you could tell I'm not overweight in any significant way or shape or form. However, I was getting up there. I was uncomfortable with the weight when I would go on the scale. And I'd go on the scale morning and night. Okay? And my weight was in the morning what it used to be before I went to bed. And before I went to bed, my weight was, 4 or 5 pounds more than it used to be. So I wanted to get the weight back to normal. I wanted the weight, the getting up in the morning weight to be way down and the nighttime weight to be the new bad getting up in the morning weight, if you know what I mean. So I needed to lose 4 pounds or so. So what did I cut out? I cut out my vice. My vice are chocolate chip cookies. And they're called Voortman chocolate chip cookies. They come like in a thin sleeve. And each one has, as I found out, 8 grams of sugar. Now, I don't drink soda because I don't want to drink that sugar. But here I was eating. I get up in the morning to make my son's lunch. And, okay, I break a half a cookie and eat it at 6:30 in the morning. Then go back to bed later. And then when I came back down to take up to school, I'd take another half a cookie. Sometimes when I got home, before I walked the dog or before I went back to bed, I'd take another half a cookie. So I was eating, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 or maybe on a bad day 8 cookies a day. So that's, 50 grams of sugar a day or so or more. So what do I need that for? So I cut that out. I admit I had 1 cookie last night. 1. I've had 1 cookie in the past, I think, 9 days. 1 cookie in the past 9 days. At work here, we have a beautiful array of food. Most of it is healthy. Nuts, fruit, vegetables, all kinds of great stuff, yogurt. We also happen to have some cookies. And I would snack on cookies from time to time. I'd stuff an Oreo or 2 between breaks and haven't done it. Not in 9 days. So I've lost about, I'd say about 4 pounds. 4 pounds. Now I'm also doing a little more. I'm making sure I'm back on the treadmill 4 times a week or riding the bike and exercising, 4 times a week as opposed to 2 or 3. But you don't really lose weight exercising on the treadmill or whatever. It's what you eat. It's what you eat. I mean, just think of all the walking you have to do, and you look at where it says calories. How many calories do you lose if you walk for 45 or 50 minutes? It's then you go have a candy bar and you gain it all back and more. So it's what you put in. At least that's what I've been told, and that's what I find. So I could still lose a few more. I was getting worried. You want to know why I was getting worried? because I'm on TV every day, number one. And I was worried that all my suits, what if I keep gaining weight? What am I have to do? Buy all new clothes? So look at this. So I got, if you're watching on Newsmax TV, I got room to, this is buttoned, baby. Buttoned, and I got room to spare now. Oh, yeah. So, anyway. So it's 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. I'd also love to know how many of you have gotten your flu shot. That is one thing I would like to know, because we discussed that several weeks ago, and the phones lit up like a Christmas tree from people talking about, I don't get it, I do get it, I'll never get it, why I don't get it, here's why I get it, here's why I don't give it to my kids, here's why I give it to my kids. But we're really getting into that season, and there are decisions to be made. There are decisions to be made. Okay, now listen to this as we shift gears here just a little bit. A tech firm linked to a campaign donor crony of President Obama not only got the job to help build the federal health insurance website, but he's also getting paid now to fix it. We'll have more on that coming up. But we ready for Dr. Samadi? Okay. All right. No problem. We'll just we'll save all these great stories for next week, and that's no problem. So let me give you this: Anthony Welters, a top campaign bundler. You know what a bundler is? They raise X amount of dollars for whoever's running. So a top campaign bundler for Barack Obama and a frequent White House guest is the executive vice president of United Health Group, which owns the software company now at the center of the Obamacare website fiasco. United Healthcare Group subsidiary Quality Software Services, which built the data hub for the Obamacare system, has been named the new general contractor in charge of fixing it. Let me tell you something. Newt Gingrich was ripped apart by Wolf Blitzer and by all the rest of them on CNN for daring to compare and to say that what Obama has done is worse. The lies of Obama and the actions of Obama on Obamacare compared to Nixon. Now, if you want to talk about the lies, and I said this the day he said it, because I was watching him when he said it, and I brought it up on the air. So I'm not some Johnny-come-lately weighing in on this. I said it when it happened. How do you compare Nixon's lies to Obama's lies? I mean, Nixon lied about a cover-up, and it was the cover-up that brought him down. The cover-up of a break-in. Yeah, he did a lot of bad things to cover it up. But who the heck, I got getting very passionate about this. Who gives a darn about that compared to the lie Obama's been telling for 3.5 years about your health care, your doctor, your insurance, which is the worst lie. So absolutely, what Obama lied about is much worse than what Nixon lied about. And now it's not incompetence. When you give your friend, who is a campaign bundler, who you have at the White House often, when you give him the contract to start this, that's bad. And then when you give him the contract to fix it after he blew it, that's even worse. When are we going to start hearing the impeachment word for this guy? This guy is out of control. Totally out of control. And you know what he did now? You know what he did today? Today, in the middle of all this, because you can't keep up with him. Because he had a very good teacher, a very good Bible in Rules for Radicals. Okay? You know what he did today? He issued an executive order for federal, state, and local agencies to prepare for the effects of global warming. You know what that means? Any project going forward, federal, state, or local level, is going to take into account this fictitious effect of global warming concern. There's going to be all new regulations. People will lose their jobs. Prices will increase. You'll have to pay for it. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. When are we going to start talking about impeaching this man over Obamacare? Every aspect of it. The cronyism, the incompetence, the lies. That's what I'd like to know. All right, when we come back, maybe we'll ask that to Bill Kristol, who's coming up next, I'm proud to say, on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said, "The truth is stranger than fiction." The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's LIMBEX joint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
Hello, my name is Fred Fleitz, and I'm the managing editor of Lignet. You've probably seen our name preceding some of the stories you read on Newsmax or heard Lignet referenced on Fox News, C-SPAN, or CNN. Perhaps you've asked yourself, what is Lignet? Lignet is an acronym for the Langley Intelligence Group Network, a private Washington, D.C. based service that provides global intelligence, in-depth analysis, and detailed forecasting.
Who is Lignet?
Lignet's staff and advisors include former CIA officers, national security experts, presidential advisors, and top-level government officials from around the world. I myself held several national security posts for the U.S. government during my 25-year career with the Central Intelligence Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the U.S. Department of State, and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Our lead advisor is General Michael Hayden, the former director of the CIA. He is joined by former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations John Bolton and former chairman of the National Intelligence Council and Special Assistant to President Ronald Reagan Fritz Ehrmann, former U.S. Ambassador to Venezuela Otto Reich, and former clandestine service officer Frederick Russman. Former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee Peter Hoekstra also joined our advisory board staff.
What is Lignet's mission?
Every day, our goal is to use our expertise, our resources, and our worldwide staff to take the pulse of the ever-changing political and economic landscape and the threats we face on a daily basis. Whether you are following global events for your portfolio or business, or just interested in the world around you, Lignet provides what you need to know to keep up with global events.
What are the benefits of joining Lignet?
There are many. Every day, Lignet members receive the Morning Brief, a daily email that provides summaries and links to our daily analysis to keep you up to date on Lignet's assessments. Lignet members receive unrestricted access to Lignet's secure database of global analysis. All of our special reports, previous analyses, and exclusive video interviews with intelligence insiders are available to members 24 hours a day. But you also get top-notch analysis that resembles the President's Daily Brief, the classified intelligence assessment delivered to the President of the United States every morning. Lignet also sends breaking news emails to our membership list. If there is a development of global proportions or a terror alert, our subscribers are always the first to know. I hope you now have a better understanding of what Lignet is, but more importantly, recognize how truly invaluable Lignet can be. As the old saying goes, knowledge is power.
Join Lignet for $1. Go to lignet.com/radio.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back. We are honored to welcome in our next guest, founder and editor of the Weekly Standard, Bill Crystal, joining us for the first time. Hello, Bill. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with us.
Hey, Steve. My pleasure. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. I have so much I want to talk to you about, so let me get right to it. This Obamacare fiasco. I saw you, trying to educate Keith Ellison the other day about Obama and what he said and why it's not true, or you want to call it a lie. Have you ever seen anything like this? There's now a report on Drudge that one of the same bundlers who runs one of the same companies that was responsible for the fiasco of the website is now been hired additionally to fix the fiasco. I mean, it's just kind of like in your face, one thing after the next.
Yeah, and it's big government at work and crony big government at work and the Obama administration at work and Obamacare at work. I think we really need to sort of keep reminding people this isn't just a bug in Obamacare. This is a feature of Obamacare. If you believe in big government's ability to run 20% of the U.S. economy and adjust all of our insurance premiums to just what they should be in the judgment of Big Brother in Washington, and tell us we're not going to lose our health insurance and then we do lose it, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this, in a way, exemplifies just why some of us have been so opposed to Obamacare and so insistent that the core conservative agenda for the next 3 years, really, in addition to all the other things we need to accomplish at home and in the world, has to be the repeal of Obamacare.
Absolutely, and with the public now understanding that the White House knew in 2010 that not only what Obama was saying wasn't true, but that 95 to 97 million people would eventually lose the current insurance that they had once Obamacare kicked in. I mean, this is the issue going into the 2014 election, correct?
Yeah, I think it's the center of gravity of American politics, because there's always some issue, some piece of legislation, some area of public policy, or just life, that sort of exemplifies the difference in worldviews between the two parties. Sometimes it's more of a foreign policy issue, and God knows there are important foreign policy issues like Iran. Sometimes it's an economic, a tax policy issue. That was probably the case in the late 70s between Reagan and the Carter administration. Sometimes it's this kind of big government social engineering scheme. And for me, it's the social engineering that really brings home how radical Obamacare is. There are a ton of liberal policies that tax people to give benefits to the poor or the elderly or to students or others. And we could obviously, people like us tend not to like those policies very much and think they're much too extravagant and need to be reformed and all that. But that's one thing. I mean, they still don't really intrude on your personal liberty, on your personal life quite the way this does. I mean, think how stunning it is. A friend of mine here in D.C., 35-year-old guy, he had a health insurance policy he liked. He bought it in the private market from a health insurance company that presumably thought it was a good deal to sell it to him. It wasn't hurting anyone else. You know what I mean?
No, but it was a subpar bad apple policy.
Exactly, right. My friend who's a PhD in history from an Ivy League college, he can't actually judge what's good for him. And that is the heart, I think, of Obamacare. That we can't judge. We shouldn't be empowered to have more ability, incidentally, to shape our health care choices, which would be the right way to go. Instead, a bunch of experts in Washington are going to run everything for our benefit. And in that respect, it's a very revealing moment, I think.
Newt Gingrich made a comparison or an analogy, if you will, between Nixon's lies about Watergate and Obama's lie about this for 3 years. And, of course, the folks on CNN shot him down and said, do you want to reconsider what you said? Ooh, how could you say that? That's awful. You want to take it back. Do you think there's any credence to that analogy?
Yeah, except, well, the difference is that Obamacare, honestly, will do more damage to the country than Watergate ever could have done. Watergate was, stupid, petty, partisan politics, and Nixon did misuse the Oval Office and then did lie to the country about it, probably. But here we have a takeover of legislative takeover of a huge percentage of the economy and an area that's so important to everyone's lives. And so, no, it is. I'm not sure. I hadn't really thought of that analogy, but they're not quite comparable. But it's not as if what President Obama has done. It's a big deal. I love the way the left, having touted Obamacare for all these years as such a huge accomplishment, is now sort of, oh, come on, it's just a law of the land, just relax, it's no big deal, nothing there, really. Government websites are always crashing, and government programs are always taking people's insurance away.
It's a lot deeper than that. We're talking to Bill Kristol here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Let me ask you about foreign policy. We had a former IAEA representative who was in that agency for 25 years on the show yesterday, who says Iran, very, very close. They could have it in a month if they wanted it, a bomb. What should the United States do going forward, and what should Israel do, in your view?
Well, the United States should prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, but I don't think the Obama administration is going to. They called in a bunch of senators last night, apparently to browbeat them for not against moving for tougher sanctions on Iran. It's sort of a last-gasp effort to persuade the Iranian regime to back off. They don't know. They believe in the negotiations. They think there's real hope that we can have an interim deal. I have no confidence, unfortunately, that the U.S. is going to do the right thing here, and therefore I think Israel has to really, it's an existential threat to Israel. I think they've got to decide I'm not going to tell a foreign government what to do, but I think they may well decide they have to act, and if they do, we should certainly support them. So this could be a huge issue in the next 6 to 9 months. And between Obamacare and Iran, I really think it'll bring home how feckless, how irresponsible, and really how damaging the Obama administration has been, unfortunately.
Bill, I hope you'll come back. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
Happy to. Me too.
Thank you. Bill Kristol, ladies and gentlemen, founder and editor of the Weekly Standard, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Fascinating conversation, and he's right. Obamacare and Iran are going to be the two centerpieces of the 2014 elections. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
When you were younger, you probably never considered your heart health. But cardiologist Dr. Chauncey Crandall knows from experience that taking steps to care for your heart becomes more crucial as the decades pass, if you want to keep this vital organ ticking smoothly for years to come. That's why Dr. Crandall recently developed Cardio Advanced, a nutritional supplement containing 12 special ingredients, all selected to help improve and maintain your heart health and normal cholesterol levels. The flagship of this exclusive formula, esterified plant sterols, may help lower your risk of heart disease when taken as part of a diet low in cholesterol and fat. And great news, now you have the opportunity to try a 30-day supply of Cardio Advanced. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act right now, you'll also receive a free doctor's guide to a healthy heart as a special bonus. Please visit cardioadvanced.com/radio for complete details on claiming your 30-day bottle of Cardio Advanced and free report. That's cardioadvanced.com/radio. Life is too precious to ignore your heart health. Visit cardioadvanced.com/radio now while supplies last.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, all while you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, investments, and home's value. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer, who was the only expert to predict the recession, has released a startling video with shocking evidence that the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Watch it at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. Today begins the second month of the Affordable Care Act's website enrollment period, and we are learning more about just how many Americans are signing up. Internal documents show that in the first 2 days of healthcare.gov, only 248 enrollments were completed nationwide. That's a far cry from the 39,000 enrollees a day needed to meet the program's goal of 7 million participants by March 1st. Republicans this week grilled the head of CMS, the agency running the website, to find out what the current totals are. The head of CMS wouldn't share, even though the documents show the government has access to them.
No numbers on who's enrolled, so you have no idea?
We will have those numbers available mid-November.
The Obama administration wants to sign up 7 million people by March 1st. Heavy rain and high winds are pushing through the Northeast today after intense thunderstorms originating in the Gulf Coast spread damage from Texas through the Midwest. At least 3 deaths have been blamed on the weather, which is believed to have caused tornadoes in Illinois, a roof to collapse in Indiana, and a school bus to drive off a bridge in Wichita, Kansas.
Sounded like a freight train coming through. It was real bad. I jumped out of bed. I was in bed and went and checked on Michael and them, and they're okay. I'm outside and the roof is tore off the house.
Travel delays are likely along the I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. to Boston today. A federal prosecutor is reviewing evidence in the case of a Georgia teenager whose body was found inside a rolled-up wrestling mat in his high school. 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson died in January. Authorities ruled it an accident, but the family had his body exhumed and an independent autopsy found evidence of blunt force trauma on his neck. Authorities in San Diego say they've shut down a newly completed drug tunnel between the U.S. and Mexico that was built as a smuggler's subway. The tunnel has an electronic rail system, electrical and ventilation systems, and runs for about 1/3 of a mile between warehouses in San Diego and Tijuana. 3 people are under arrest, and authorities seized more than 300 pounds of cocaine and more than 8 tons of marijuana. And was Joe Biden almost dumped from the 2012 presidential ticket for Hillary Clinton? A new book called Double Down by Mark Halperin and John Heilman reveals that Obama campaign staffers conducted focus groups and polling to look into the idea. The book claims the effort was spearheaded by ex-Chief of Staff Bill Daley and that President Obama might not have known about it. Coming up, immigration reform isn't a liberal plot. That's according to Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist, who says immigration reform embraces Reagan ideals. He explains straight ahead. Plus, an Atlanta man shatters the Cannonball Run speed record. How he did it when we come back.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's limbexjoint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
Wow, you look great. Thanks. I've lost some weight. What's your secret weapon? Actually, I do in fact have one. Really?
If you're looking for help in your weight loss efforts, remember this name, Metabio. It just may be the edge you've been looking for. Metabio is the nutritional weight loss breakthrough power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. Metabio supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. It helps maintain your optimal weight and wellness when used as part of a healthy lifestyle. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Metabio. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit themetabio.com/offer for complete details. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Practical Guide to Healthy Weight Management. Learn how you can try Metabio for 30 days at themetabio.com/offer. That's the metabio.com/offer. Hurry, only while supplies last at themetabio.com/offer.
And welcome back. Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist says there's still time for Congress to pass an immigration law overhaul this year, but warns that Democrats' game plan is to kill immigration reform.
This is a Reagan Republican reform that is pro-growth, helpful to security, getting us a secure border, making us a richer and stronger and more prosperous and more powerful country.
And finally, from our Do Not Try This at Home files, a Georgia man and his pals sped across the U.S. and right into the record books. 27-year-old Ed Bolian broke the record time for a New York to California road trip, eluding cops and traffic to complete the road trip in 28 hours and 50 minutes. Ed made the trip after tricking out a 2004 Mercedes CL55. That's your Newsmax Now update for November 1st. For more exclusive interviews and content, stay with Newsmax TV and Newsmax.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios. This is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, hour number 2 of the Friday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show, and I have been waiting all week for this interview because I find these stories when they come out to be just fascinating. There's a great book called Waking Up in Heaven, and it's been on the New York Times bestseller list for 17 weeks or so, maybe even longer by now, and yeah, about 17, 18 weeks. And the author, Crystal McVeigh, was dead. She died for 9 hours and 9 minutes after doctors gave her too much of pain medication while she was in the hospital. And she is here to tell us all about what she writes about in Waking Up in Heaven, which I'm holding up in my hands here on for those watching on Newsmax TV. Let's welcome in, without any further ado, Crystal McVeigh. Hey, Crystal. Glad to talk to you. I'm fine. It is such an amazing story, and I'm sure you've heard them before, and if you didn't, I'm sure you've done research since the book or while writing the book, and there have been other people who have had at least similar experience to the extent that they say that their body they rose out of their body, and when they were declared dead or were dead, and then had an experience with God, and then came back into their body. It wasn't their time. Whatever. Tell us what happened to you when you were given too much pain medication in the hospital that day.
Sure. So I always start with telling people that I was a doubter. I was a skeptic. Now, I had grown up in church my entire life, but I had a lot of secrets of child sexual abuse, an abortion as a teenager, things that I just never talked about. And so up until the day I died, I thought I had two options. One, God was real and he didn't love me for some reason. He hadn't protected me. Or two, God wasn't real. I was not an atheist. I was just a doubter. I closed my eyes in the hospital that day. My mom was in the room with me at my feet, and I remember telling her that I loved her, and I remember closing my eyes. And the moment that I closed my eyes on earth was the exact moment that I opened them in heaven. And the amazing and beautiful thing about that instant was that there was no question of where I was. Instantly, I knew that I was standing in the presence of angels whom I had known prior to my existence on earth. I was very familiar with where I was and where I had just come from. What I found myself standing in was the most beautiful tunnel of light that I could ever try to describe to you. I use the color white, but only because that's the closest color to purity that we have here on this earth. Instantly, knowledge was downloaded to me. I had no question. And I began to communicate with the two angels standing to my left immediately.
And you say you knew these angels from before you were born? In other words, before you were born? It's not like you knew them from this life and they had passed away, but you knew them from prior. is what
right,
you're saying.
I did
Okay.
not. I didn't. I was very aware of the fact that I had not known them on this earth. And somebody had said to me after I shared that part of the story, that's not biblical for you to say you existed before you came to earth. And I had never read the Bible. And so after I experienced this with God, the first thing I read was the Bible. And actually Jeremiah tells us that God said in his own words, I knew you before I knitted you in your mother's womb. These two angels were more than just angels. They were my angels. They were my friends. I just loved them so much. People often ask me what they looked like, and what I saw were two silhouettes with so much light radiating off of them. I just can't recall facial features, but I could look at them, and we could communicate instantly with no words. The other thing there was not in heaven was time. There was no minutes or hours. There was no rush. I remember standing and communicating with them, and as I turned to my right, I noticed that the light to my right started taking on a different feeling, a different texture. And as I turned to my right, I fell to my knees because instantly I recognized that I was in the presence of God. I didn't just meet God. I had already known him. I was being
Reintroduced?
rejoined, reintroduced to the being who created me. And I fell to my knees in worship. And I get asked a lot, what did God look like? The only words that I can describe, I use a light, but a light more beautiful than what we've ever seen on earth, and one that not only could I see, but I could communicate with. And we have 5 senses here, but it was as if 100 senses while I was there.
We're talking to Crystal McVeigh, author of Waking Up in Heaven, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Did you communicate with God?
I did. I fell to my knees in worship of him. I lifted my hands, and the first question I said was, why didn't I do more for you? Because instantly he had shown me his beauty and his power and his love. I was so saddened with the fact that I hadn't done more in his name while I had been here.
Was there any communication from God to you?
Yes, he allowed me to remember a few things that he said directly to me. Now, the entire time I was there, it was constant communication back and forth. As I looked down the tunnel, I noticed that the end became increasingly bright. And like I said, there was no questions there, and I knew that I was looking at the entrance to heaven, or the gates to heaven. I didn't see big, swingy gates, but I knew what I was looking at. And he said, once we get there, you can't come back. And in that instant, he showed me a vision of my 4 children. I had 2 teenagers and 2 twins that were 10 months old. And my memory was jogged back to sitting in church when the pastor said, you'll love God above all else. And I remember saying, if you're real, I would never love you more than my children. And in that instance, he showed me my 4 children. He showed me that their life, that they were going to be okay without me, that I was going to see them again, that he would always be with them, and he gave me the choice to come back to be their mother, to stay with him. And I actually chose to stay with him.
And why did he send you back?
Well,
You don't-
and as we continued to go down the tunnel, he just made it very clear in one beautiful, amazing encounter with a person that he introduced me to. His love flooded me. It freed me from years of self-doubt and hatred and unworthiness, and he healed me right in front of the gates of heaven. And then I heard my mom call my name. And when she called my name, I felt so sorry for her that she had no idea where I was. And I said, can I go tell her that I'm okay? And I did not want to come back to my life. I have no idea how I was going to tell her. And he said, the choice is up to you. And as I turned to go and find where her voice was coming from, he said, tell them what you can remember. And I remember calling back kind of over my shoulder. I said, I'll remember everything, and I'll be right back.
And here you are.
And as soon as I looked down the bottom of the tunnel, which was like beautiful crystal-like diamonds. And as soon as I noticed the bottom of the tunnel, I was right back.
All right, we
in
only
my
got,
body.
unfortunately, Crystal, I only have less than a minute. You were declared dead by the doctors there. I mean, your heart had stopped. It's not like you just drifted off to sleep. They declared
Right.
you dead?
I wasn't declared dead,
Okay.
but I did have a code blue performed for 7.5 minutes.
Meant your heart stopped, right?
Yes, respiratory arrest, no heartbeat, no
Yeah.
breathing.
All right, I really wish I had more time with you, but it's been
Oh,
fascinating.
yeah.
And the book,
Thank you.
Waking Up in Heaven, continued success with it. I know you're a teacher and a great mom and an amazing story, and folks could find out more about it. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. You too. Crystal
Bye-bye.
McVeigh, ladies and gentlemen, Waking Up in Heaven. Pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild stuff. And again, it's not the first time that this kind of story has been told. This is a different one. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
If you need to lose weight and would like to get paid for it, that's right, I said get paid to lose weight. Just listen to the following announcement. The makers of GCE Green Coffee Bean Weight Loss are looking for real testimonials from real people and will pay you per pound to meet or exceed your weight loss goal. Until now, the secrets of green coffee's fat-burning power has been limited, but thanks to Dr. Oz, the secret is out. And now, this authentic green coffee bean fat burner is available in easy-to-take tablets. There are no expensive meals to buy or strenuous workouts. Simply take one tablet before each meal and record your progress. Only the first 200 callers are guaranteed to be accepted into the program. So if you're serious about losing extra weight and want to earn extra cash for fitting into your skinny jeans again, call 800-383-9230 now. Call 800-383-9230. 800-383-9230. Space is limited, so hurry and secure your spot today. 800-383-9230. Some conditions apply. 800-383-9230. 800-383-9230.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit prostaterevive.com/special for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate, while supplies last. Try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
This is the worst weather we've seen in quite some time, folks, and I don't see any end in sight. People have been calling in from across the state complaining their basements are flooding. One guy said he now has an indoor swimming pool in his basement. I told him he needs the waterproofing innovations from Basement Systems. If you want a dry basement or crawl space that will weather any kind of storm, you need the patented solutions from Basement Systems. You've seen them on home makeover shows throughout the country. With a lifetime warranty, every solution is custom designed for your basement. You can finally have that room you've always wanted with our total basement finishing system. Call now for a free estimate, and you'll never have to worry about storms like these again.
Call now for your free basement inspection at 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794. Learn how to waterproof your basement now. Call this number, 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794.
Breaking news and breaking hearts. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
Do you think it's possible that the president did not know the NSA was monitoring the personal phone calls of 35 world leaders?
I first learned about it from the same news reports that I think most people learned about this.
We don't have any independent knowledge of that.
I think it was on Friday.
He found out about the news reports.
Every time somebody gets screwed up out there, there's a sense he might not actually be involved.
All these questions suggest that somehow the president should have done something.
Doesn't know about the IRS. He doesn't know about the website that's going to collapse.
What is worse, that the president knew this or didn't know this?
Yeah. The RNC, the ad is called Bystander in Chief, or Bystander in Chief, I should say. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Noel Shepard, Malzberg Media Madness. Am I too old to have my voice crack? Anyway, coming up at the bottom of the hour, Noel will be joining us as usual. By the way, this broke before we came on, and we've had so much with the LAX. But federal appeals court, are you listening? Dr. Obama. A federal appeals court in D.C. in Washington, joined other courts by ruling for an employer who raised religious objections to the provision of the 010 U.S. healthcare law requiring companies to provide insurance that covers birth control. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, it was D.C., circuit ruled 2-1 in favor of Catholic brothers Francis and Philip Gilardi, owners of Freshway Foods at Freshway Logistics, who did not want to provide insurance coverage for contraception, sterilization, and abortion. In the ruling, the court said that corporations did not have First Amendment rights to press a claim, but that the two brothers, as shareholders, did. So the appeals court reversed a lower court ruling that denied the brothers a preliminary injunction. Folks, this is the fourth. Is this the fourth? Four appeals courts have ruled for employers, including preliminary decisions, while two others have ruled that the regulation must be complied with. So it's 4-2. Dr. Obama is losing. This will go to the Supreme Court, and if there's any decency left, it will be struck down. Now, we haven't even told you how many people, Bethany, how many people signed up for Obamacare in the first day? That's right. All right. Well, what am I asking her for? She did the sound. 6 people. 6. Saturday Night Live predicted that 6 people signed up when they did their spoof, their skit. And they were right. Listen to, and again, it's CBS News, man. CBS News has been on target. They've been ahead of the curve. They've been doing everything. And I don't know why or how they're doing it, but keep it up. Here's cut number 20.
CBS News has learned enrollments got off to an incredibly slow start. Cheryl Atkinson obtained documents that haven't been seen by the public until now.
Early enrollment figures are contained in notes from twice-a-day war room meetings convened within the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services after the website failed on October 1st. They were turned over in response to a document request from the House Oversight Committee. The website launched on Tuesday. Publicly, the government said there were 4.7 million unique visits in the first 24 hours. But at a meeting Wednesday morning, the war room notes say 6 enrollments have occurred so far. They were with Blue Cross Blue Shield North Carolina and Kansas City, CareSource, and Healthcare Service Corporation. By Wednesday afternoon, enrollments were up to approximately 100. By the end of Wednesday, the notes reflect 248 enrollments nationwide. The healthcare exchanges need to average 39,000 enrollees a day to meet the goal of 7 million by March 1st. The war room notes give a glimpse into some of the reasons customers had problems.
Yeah. 6 in day 1, 100 in day 2, 240 in day 3. And every time they're asked, Sebelius and the rest of them, oh, we don't know. We don't know. You don't know, huh? You don't want to know. Cut 21, my friends. Oh. You don't know, huh? You don't want to know. Cut 21, my friends.
Experian credit reporting agency is creating confusion with credit check information. Issuer phone numbers are not appearing correctly on the Pay Now page. The notes leave no doubt that the enrollment figures, which the administration has chosen to keep secret, are available. Statistics coming in, say notes from the very first meeting the morning of October 2nd. Contractor QSSI has a daily dashboard created every night. But head of CMS, Marilyn Tavener, wouldn't disclose the figures when Dave Camp, chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, asked earlier this week.
I mean, how do you not know how many people have enrolled?
Chairman Camp, we will have those numbers available in mid-November.
Now, QSSI, you heard us say QSSI? QSSI is the executive VP of QSSI. Let's see, which owns the software company. Okay. The Bundler. It goes back to the Bundler. That's his company. United Health Group subsidiary Quality Software Services, Inc., QSSI. They built the data hub. They know exactly how many people signed up. They're the ones who screwed it up, and now they're the ones Obama just hired again to fix it. That's Obama's buddy. So you got Michelle's buddy getting a contract, Obama's buddy getting 2 contracts. It's insanity. And here's the final cut of this, cut 22.
Health and Human Services today told us it's in no position to confirm or discuss enrollment figures because it doesn't have any. The spokesman suggested that enrollment was always expected to start very slowly and then skyrocket as the deadline approaches.
Oh, it'll be skyrocketing, all right. Oh, yeah. Skyrocketing. Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people a day are it's going to skyrocket. Give me a break. And I'm telling you, folks, the cronyism is out of control. This has to be investigated. Obama has to be held to account. Have you heard one Republican say anything? They didn't even ask Sebelius anything about Michelle Obama's Princeton buddy. This story is from the New York Post. The tech firm linked to campaign donor crony of Obama not only got the job to build the federal health insurance website, now they're getting paid to fix it. That's Obama's bundler. How is this happening? Where are the Republicans? They're really AWOL, and they're blowing it. I know this is imploding on its own. Stand back. Let it happen by itself. But these issues must be addressed. The president has to be held accountable for these contracts going to his cronies. All right. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, Noel Shepard. And that means one thing and one thing only. Malzberg's Media Madness. And that means it's right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Are you at least 62 years old like me? Could you use an extra $50,000, $100,000 or more to live a better life? Then please consider the benefits a reverse mortgage can provide to you. With a reverse mortgage, you can have your mortgage payments stopped altogether and get equity out of your home to live on. And you can use the money to help you live a better life. How nice would that be, not to have a mortgage payment? Qualifying for a reverse mortgage is simple, since there are no income, asset, employment, or credit requirements. However, you must be 62 years or older, own your home outright, or have a very low balance on the mortgage, and be prepared to live in it throughout the rest of the loan. Call now for more information.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Have you hit a brick wall with your weight loss? Does your weight management plan need an extra edge for success? If so, listen up. Metabio is the revolutionary weight loss breakthrough designed to help you reach your goal weight as part of your diet and exercise program. Metabio is the premium nutritional supplement power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. When used as part of a healthy lifestyle, each component is formulated to help you reach your goals and maintain your optimal weight and wellness. It supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. Now, learn how you can try a 30-day supply of Metabio. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit themetabio.com/special. Act now and also receive instant access to our downloadable special report, a practical guide to healthy weight management. Try it now at themetabio.com/special. That's the metabio.com/special. While supplies last. themetabio.com/special.
Attention hip implant patients. Are you in constant pain? Have you received a letter from your doctor about your implant? Have you had or need a revision surgery? Do you have high levels of metal, chromium, or cobalt in your blood? Over 90,000 hip implant devices have been recalled due to defects and failures resulting in revision or replacement surgery. If you have a recalled hip implant, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-460-0920 to see if your implant is affected by the recalls. If you or a loved one has a defective or recalled hip implant, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-460-0920. That's 800-460-0920. Protect your legal rights today. Call 800-460-0920. This is an advertisement, not valid in all states. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. iLawsuit.com is an advertising group that represents lawyers advertising their services and is a free matching service for consumers. It is not a law firm or lawyer referral service.
This is not your typical Screenfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, it's Friday. It's midway point of the show, and that can mean only one thing. Well, two things. It's time for Malzberg's Media Madness, and Noel Shepard, associate editor of newsbusters.org, is here to join us. Hello, Noel.
Hello, Steve.
First of all, congratulations on your great story that got placed on Drudge today.
Yeah, it was good stuff today.
Yeah,
actually two hits today.
2 hits today. Okay, see, I'm already behind.
Kinda neat.
I'm already behind. No, and you were the one who spread the word about the Forbes piece that you and that's what I want to start with. Yesterday on newsbusters.org, you linked to and quoted from a Forbes story that talked about back in 2010 from the Federal Register, the June 2010 edition of the Federal Register. Administration officials they predicted that 93 million people would lose their health plans under Obamacare. So it just makes this lie, which Newt Gingrich has compared to Nixon lying, said it's worse. And Bill Kristol today, we had him on, said, it's not a complete analogy, but he thinks this is worse as well.
Oh, I think this is far worse. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, how were people impacted by Watergate directly? They weren't.
No, their lives weren't affected, no.
Right. So here, look, and what's sad about this is it's not like what Forbes did is they broke anything that we didn't know. What they did was they found out what we've known all along, that the Obama administration also knew it, and that we just don't have a media that in 2010 was willing to discuss this. So instead we find out after it's been implemented and after the re-election and after it's been implemented and after the re-election and after the rule now. How would Roberts view things knowing now what we know about this law.
I wish I could know what was in his head when he changed his mind. Hopefully he wouldn't have, but who the heck knows?
Right. That's right. But this was really, quite frankly, I think a bigger bombshell than Lisa Meyer's story from Monday.
Yeah.
Because because this is clearly going to impact millions of people. And I don't know whether you have anybody close to you, any relatives or any friends that are employed by big companies, but they are getting now, I mean, we're now in November, so this is when people get, in October and November is when people who are employed by larger companies get their benefits packages and have to fill out for the coming year. And everybody I'm talking to, and I've been asked not to quote people, but everybody that I'm talking to says their rates are going up, and in their benefits package it specifically says because of the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
So this idea that, I mean, with the way they're trying to float it now is that maybe it's going to impact 15 million people. Nonsense. This is probably going to impact about half of the employees in America.
Well, of course, the 15 million or the 5%, as they like to say, got bad apple policies, substandard policies, junk policies that didn't provide any coverage anyway. And anybody who had it and paid for it is a moron.
That's right.
So don't forget that. Now you mentioned Lisa Myers, and I want to go there as a natural segue since you brought it up, because I was going to go there eventually. Her bombshell, as you wrote about on Monday on the NBC Nightly News, was that the White House knew about it for the last 3 years, that it was a lie. But then the story here, though, from your point of view and mine for this segment, is NBC then buried that story, and Lisa Myers even buried that story when she came on later.
Pretty amazing. You've got an investigative, their senior investigative correspondent. I mean, you've been watching Lisa Myers. We've known her for decades. She is clearly a very, very fine.
All the way back to Anita Broderick's interview.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Good memory. That's correct. So here she breaks this bombshell late Monday afternoon, and her own network, NBC Nightly News, devoted 21 seconds to her report and basically kind of soft-soaked the whole thing. The following day, Today's Show doesn't mention it. On Tuesday evening, NBC Nightly News, she comes on and she doesn't even really discuss her story. Basically, it's fairly clear. NBC News came to the decision that we've got a great story here. We'll put it up on our website, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
They're not going to discuss it in front of the 8 million. Do you realize now NBC Nightly News is they've been averaging in October, they averaged 8.3 million people an evening. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Yeah.
They haven't been at those numbers in a while, but no, they weren't going to discuss it with 8.3 million people watching.
I wonder how many calls they got from the good old Obama administration.
That's right. I bet you they did.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm not going to bet it, but
yeah.
It's surprising because we did find out that the Obama administration is putting pressure on insurers, insurance companies execs, to not complain about Obamacare. So clearly the administration right now is very, very concerned.
Absolutely. We're talking to Noel Shepard, associate editor, newsbusters.org. Okay, I couldn't wait. I can't wait to play this. This is from just in case you were worried that in San Francisco hookers weren't getting weren't getting Obamacare. No need to worry. This is a CNN Money report, okay? This is not Saturday Night Live, which it could be. Noel wrote about it, linked the video today, and here it is, cut 33. Sit back and get a load of this.
Each one of these women runs a small business with no access to health care, despite the risks they take with their bodies. This woman is a sex worker. She goes by the name Maxine Holloway. And believe it or not, this isn't a bachelor party.
Oh, here we are. Okay, I got it.
The burlesque act is the entertainment at a grassroots Obamacare registration event called the Healthy Hose Party. The people signing up here are sex workers and their supporters. For them, this truly feels like something to celebrate.
Like, I really honestly do think that access to healthcare should be a human right. And I've been so brainwashed to think that it's such a privilege.
For me, as an in-person escort, My health is slightly more at risk than someone who does not have a lot of contact with other humans in the course of their job.
They printed out paper applications just to make sure the crashing site didn't stop them. Many haven't been covered in years and are particularly high risk.
You know, it's true. I do not have the contact with others that these healthy hoes. That's what they called their party. Not me. They're a healthy hose party. This, like you said before, if you told me this was The Onion or if this appeared on Saturday Night Live Saturday, I would laugh. This is insanity.
No, it is, and the reason it's insanity is because these people make under $46,000.
We're going to subsidize their health insurance.
They're entitled to subsidies on $1,000.
We're going to subsidize their health insurance.
They're entitled to subsidies on a month, and the insurance is only going to cost like about $300 or $250 or something like that. So she's only going to be shelling out $60. The taxpayers and the healthy young insureds who they hope sign up are paying for prostitutes' health coverage. Now, I was under the impression that prostitution was still illegal in this country, or at least in most states, correct? I guess it's not illegal in Nevada.
Right, only in that. Yeah, only in Nevada. But it's not legal. It's not legal in San Francisco.
No, it's not legal in San Francisco yet. Federal tax dollars under the Affordable Care Act are going to go to pay for people doing illegal things to get health insurance. Now, I don't want to get into the morality of prostitution and whether it should be illegal or illegal.
But the
reality is that at this point in time, it is.
Right.
It's against the law, but we're going to be subsidizing with federal tax dollars the insurance policies of hookers.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Well, look, we need healthy hoes. What can I tell you?
And by the way, I got to tell you, I've gotten more hate mail and hate tweets about this than anything I've written in a while.
What do they call you?
I'm insensitive.
Insensitive?
I'm insensitive. Why aren't these people entitled to health care?
Oh,
my answer is they are entitled, but why should the taxpayers pay for it? Unbelievable.
All right, let's put up on the screen for those watching Newsmax TV. For the others, we'll explain the New Yorker magazine cover. And I believe, let me see. I believe that this is one of the stories one of the stories that you had linked on Drudge. This is describe for the folks what this cover is all about. Is that they now pile on Obama and Sebelius and crew.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. The New Yorker magazine is a very, very left-leaning publication. There's no question about that. I mean, I think you would agree.
Absolutely.
It's to the left of the New York Times. I mean,
yeah.
And as is New York Magazine. These are very, very liberal publications. And there you've got not a picture, but more of a painting, let's say, or an illustration. It looks like it could be an old Commodore 64 or even older. It looks like it could be an old Commodore 64 or even older. And he's putting in a floppy disk, and of course, it's the old-fashioned paper floppy disks. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
the bigger ones. Those have probably been gone for 15, 20 years. And Obama's holding up a cell phone,
which is about as big as him. Yeah.
It's great, and basically it's depicting the administration as being technically in the dark ages. It's a marvelous shot.
It really is. It really is. And let's see if we could get in. Let's talk a little bit about James Cameron here. I don't have time to play the bite now, but James Cameron got Matt Damon and Harrison Ford and Arnold Schwarzenegger to make this climate thing years of living dangerously. And this comes, by the way, as Obama today signed an executive order mandating all federal, state, and local governments to start preparing. Any future projects have to be ready for the impact of global warming, which is just more regulations and more regulations. But they're trying to scare people. The impact of global warming, which is just more regulations and more regulations. But they're trying to scare people.
And Leslie Stahl. And the other thing that's interesting is the list of science advisors is great, because you've got Heidi Cullen, formerly of the Weather Channel. You've got James Hansen, who I believe resigned from the Goddard Space Institute or the Goddard Institute for Space Studies recently. You've got Michael Mann of the totally discredited hockey stick graph, and Joseph Romm of Think Broad hockey stick graph, and Joseph Romm of Think Broad, totally discredited. And the other thing that's interesting about Cameron himself is he set up years ago in 2010. He commissioned, and he was going to pay everybody to show up to do a global warming debate. And he had a bunch of people on our side that were going to debate him, and a bunch of people on his side.
Right.
And they talked him out of it. And at the last minute, he canceled his and a bunch of people on his side.
Right.
And they talked him out of it. And at the last minute, he canceled his.
It's a great job as always, and congratulations on the links on Drudge. Everybody deserves to see those, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend. Thank you.
Good. A nice weekend.
All right, Noel Shepard, ladies and gentlemen. Here. There's one story because of time. We have a hard break to get to, but when we come back, Noel was kind enough to cover our interview with George Will. We'll play, in case you missed that, the soundbite with Al Sharpton. On the Steve Malzberg Show, you know it, Newsmax TV and radio, 877 Newsmax.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said the truth is stranger than fiction. The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967. Here's today's silver shortage update from Lear Capital.
Reports keep coming. The shortage is growing. Twice already this year, the U.S. Mint has run out. Last time this happened, the silver price jumped 40%. It's time to take advantage with this special offer from Lear Capital.
For a limited time, buy 20 new silver polar bear coins and get one free. The only 1.5 ounce coin on the market. It's minted with the finest silver, carries a government guarantee, and is eligible for IRAs. The silver polar bear is available exclusively from Lear Capital. But don't wait. Silver supplies are shrinking and availability is not guaranteed. This offer is limited to a minimum purchase of $5,000. Call right now. 800-634-0482. 800-634-0482. Call Lear Capital now. 800-634-0482.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit prostaterevive.com/special for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate, while supplies last. Try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
150 million people suffer from headaches. All you want is for the pounding in your head to stop.
Migralex stops the pounding. Migralex was developed by a neurologist and founder of the New York Headache Center.
I'm neurologist Dr. Alex Malzberg. After studying and researching the human brain for 25 years, I've developed Migralex, which eliminates pounding headaches. It works for my patients, and I'm so convinced it will work for you. I don't just guarantee it, I put my name on it.
Dr. Malzberg's Migralex gets rid of headaches fast without harsh caffeine, sodium, or preservatives.
Migralex works unbelievably fast, and it's gentle on my stomach.
Find out how Migralex gets rid of headaches fast without harsh caffeine, sodium, or preservatives.
Migralex works unbelievably.
100 callers, you'll also receive the Migralex Quick Tips to Headache Relief absolutely free. That's 800-532-2967 or go to migralexrelief.com, MIGRALEX relief.com, or call 800-532-2967.
Here's today's silver shortage update from Lear Capital.
Reports keep coming, the shortage is growing. Twice already this year, the U.S. Mint has run out. Last time this happened, the silver price jumped 40%. It's time to take advantage with this special offer from Lear Capital.
For a limited time, buy 20 new silver polar bear coins and get one free. The only 1.5 ounce coin on the market. It's minted with the finest silver, carries a government guarantee, and is eligible for IRAs. The silver polar bear is available exclusively from Lear Capital. But don't wait. Silver supplies are shrinking and availability is not guaranteed. This offer is limited to a minimum purchase of $5,000. Call right now. 800-634-0482. 800-634-0482. Call Lear Capital now. 800-634-0482.
The Steve Malzberg Show is just a bit different from the other radio shows. We have TV cameras. Watch the show at Newsmax.com or listen on your favorite radio station. Here's Steve Malzberg.
And every now and then, the right-wing politicians and pundits actually say it.
Of course I want Obamacare to fail, because if it doesn't fail, it will just further entangle American society with a government that is not up to this.
Of course you want Obamacare to fail? Well, of course. This is what's wrong with the Republican Party. And of course, the American people are fed up with it. And of course, Republicans will pay the price for it at election time.
All right. I don't have to tell you that's Al Sharpton on MSNBC. I still can't believe I say that he has a show, but he does.
Well, the American people have, this is, I guess, a news bulletin to Mr. Sharpton, but the American people were opposed to Obamacare when it was proposed. They were even more opposed to it when it passed, and they're even more opposed to it today than they were when it passed. I'm not the one convincing the American people. Experience and common sense is convincing the American people of this.
And are you a viewer of MSNBC at all? Not just now because you're at Fox, but have you been in the past? Are there, is there any host there that you like or don't like, or do you not watch it at all? Been in the past, are there, is there any host there that you like or don't like, or do you not watch it at all? All right, there you go. That was from, I think, Monday when we had George Will on. Very interesting. Al Sharpton. Oh! So he wants it to fail. Oh, gosh. Oh, please. Anyway. All right. Oh! So he wants it to fail. Oh, gosh. Oh, please. Anyway. All right. Up in arms over Ted Cruz's father. Ted Cruz's father, who is I believe, a reverend. And I want you to listen to what he said back in 2000. I think this was 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Or 2012. I think he said this in 2012. And here's cut 27.
They are pushing very hard for the United Nations to have taxing authority. And Obama is very much one of the big promoters of these. So I'll tell you, we have our work cut out for us. We need to send Barack Obama back to Chicago. I'd like to send him back to Kenya, back to we are absolutely need to retake the Senate.
Okay. We absolutely need to retake the Senate. We need to send Barack Obama back to Chicago, back to Kenya, and whatever else he said. To be honest, I don't know. How is that racist? How's that racist? Will someone explain that to me, how that's racist? If you believe he was born in Kenya, that's not racist. Or is that racist too? Of course that's racist too. But to a normal person, you know, putting the media aside, how is that racist? He also said send them back to Chicago. I mean, and this is not a white man saying this. Now, leave it to Al Sharpton, not a white man saying this. Now, leave it to Al Sharpton, not Tawana Brawley, not Greek homos, not calling David Dinkins the N-word, nothing. There's not a racist bone in Al Sharpton's body, never has been. Because Al Sharpton will tell you, a black man can't be racist. There's the solution to that. Okay. Al Sharpton starts talking about other comments, vile comments, or whatever that Rafael Cruz, the father of Ted Cruz, other comments, vile comments, or whatever that Rafael Cruz, the father of Ted Cruz.
This wasn't a one-time joke. Senator Cruz's father has said similar things plenty of times, often at official Tea Party events.
When Obama campaigned in 2008, it was very, very clear that he was a socialist. One of the things in Obamacare is that for the elderly, every 5 years you must have end-of-life counseling. Translation, suicide counseling. Not much different than that or bearded friend that I left behind in Cuba, governing by decree, by executive order, just like a dictator like Fidel Castro.
This is vile stuff.
Or just like a dictator like Fidel Castro.
This is vile stuff.
God, that's a cut we have to just keep on our own. Folks, he accuses, he plays the send them back to Kenya and says that, oh, he said this before. Oh, he said this over and over. Usually at Tea Party events. So what they have him? Calling him a socialist. Saying that the Affordable Care Act has a provision for end-of-life counseling, which it does. So he didn't show anything of a racist nature or a vile nature whatsoever. Not even anything controversial. That he reminds him that governing by decree, like where he came from in Cuba, that's not racist or vile. Pointing out what exactly is in Obamacare by putting the words up, that's not anything. There is what exactly is in Obamacare by putting the words up. That's not anything. There is him saying go back to Kenya. None of it is like that. So, oh, he has a history of saying this kind of stuff. And then he shows 3 cuts, and not one of them is like that kind of stuff. Leave it to Al Sharpton, because not only is he not a racist, but just as he's not a racist, he is a television genius. Don't forget it. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
When you were younger, you probably never considered your heart health. But cardiologist Dr. Chauncey Crandall knows from experience that taking steps to care for your heart becomes more crucial as the decades pass, if you want to keep this vital organ ticking smoothly for years to come. That's why Dr. Crandall recently developed Cardio Advanced, a nutritional supplement containing 12 special ingredients, all selected to help improve and maintain your heart health and normal cholesterol levels. The flagship of this exclusive formula, esterified plant sterols, may help lower your risk of heart disease when taken as part of a diet low in cholesterol and fat. And great news, now you have the opportunity to try a 30-day supply of Cardio Advanced. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act right now, you'll also receive a free doctor's guide to a healthy heart as a special bonus. Please visit cardioadvanced.com/radio for complete details on claiming your 30-day bottle of Cardio Advanced and free report. That's cardioadvanced.com/radio. Life is too precious to ignore your heart health. Visit cardioadvanced.com/radio now while supplies last.
Do you have a motorized wheelchair or scooter that needs repairs and you don't know where to turn? Then call the experts at Precision Repair Network. They are the specialists in repairing all makes and models of motorized wheelchairs and scooters. You can call 24/7 and they will come to you anywhere in the United States. They'll give you a loaner to use until they return yours in perfect condition. And your repairs may be covered by your Medicare or your private insurance, so there is little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. If your wheelchair or scooter needs repairs, call this special hotline now and learn how you can get door-to-door service on your repairs at little or no cost to you. Precision Repair Network. They'll get you moving again. Operators are ready to take your call right now. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. That's 800-978-4813.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. Today begins the second month of the Affordable Care Act's website enrollment period, and we are learning more about just how many Americans are signing up. Internal documents show that in the first 2 days of healthcare.gov, only 248 enrollments were completed nationwide. That's a far cry from the 39,000 enrollees a day needed to meet the program's goal of 7 million participants by March 1st. Republicans this week grilled the head of CMS, the agency running the website, to find out what the current totals are. The head of CMS wouldn't share, even though the documents show the government has access to them.
No numbers on who's enrolled, so you have no idea?
We will have those numbers available mid-November.
The Obama administration wants to sign up 7 million people by March 1st. Heavy rain and high winds are pushing through the Northeast today after intense thunderstorms originating in the Gulf Coast spread damage from Texas through the Midwest. At least 3 deaths have been blamed on the weather, which is believed to have caused tornadoes in Illinois, a roof to collapse in Indiana, and a school bus to drive off a bridge in Wichita, Kansas.
Sounded like a freight train coming through. It was real bad. I jumped out of bed. I was in bed and went and checked on Michael and them, and they're okay. Come outside and the roof is tore off the house.
Travel delays are likely along the I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. to Boston today. A federal prosecutor is reviewing evidence in the case of a Georgia teenager whose body was found inside a rolled-up wrestling mat in his high school. 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson died in January. Authorities ruled it an accident, but the family had his body exhumed and an independent autopsy found evidence of blunt force trauma on his neck. Authorities in San Diego say they've shut down a newly completed drug tunnel between the U.S. and Mexico that was built as a smuggler's subway. The tunnel has an electronic rail system, electrical and ventilation systems, and runs for about a third of a mile between warehouses in San Diego and Tijuana. 3 people are under arrest, and authorities seized more than 300 pounds of cocaine and more than 8 tons of marijuana. And was Joe Biden almost dumped from the 2012 presidential ticket for Hillary Clinton? A new book called Almost Dumped from the 2012 presidential ticket for Hillary Clinton. A new book called Doubling to look into the idea. The book claims the effort was spearheaded by ex-Chief of Staff Bill Daley and that President Obama might not have known about it. Coming up, immigration reform isn't a liberal plot. That's according to Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist, who says immigration reform embraces Reagan ideals. He explains straight ahead. Plus, an Atlanta man shatters the Cannonball Run speed record. How he did it when we come back.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's LIMBEX joint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
Wow, you look great. Thanks. I've lost some weight. What's your secret weapon? Actually, I do in fact have one. Really?
If you're looking for help in your weight loss efforts, remember this name, Metabio. It just may be the edge you've been looking for. Metabio is the nutritional weight loss breakthrough power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. Metabio supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. It helps maintain your optimal weight and wellness when used as part of a healthy lifestyle. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Metabio. Simply cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit themetabio.com/offer for complete details. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Practical Guide to Healthy Weight Management. Learn how you can try Metabio for 30 days at themetabio.com/offer. That's the metabio.com/offer. Hurry, only while supplies last at themetabio.com/offer.
And welcome back. Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist says there is still time for Congress to pass an immigration law overhaul this year, but warns that Democrats' game plan is to kill immigration reform.
This is a Reagan Republican reform that is pro-growth, helpful to security, getting us a secure border, making us a richer and stronger and more prosperous and more powerful country.
And finally, from our Do Not Try This at Home files, a Georgia man and his pals sped across the U.S. and right into the record books. 27-year-old Ed Bolian broke the record time for a New York to California road trip, eluding cops and traffic to complete the road trip in 28 hours and 50 minutes. Ed made the trip after tricking out a 2004 Mercedes CL55. That's your Newsmax Now update for November 1st. For more exclusive interviews and content, stay with Newsmax TV and Newsmax.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios. This is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Final hour, Friday edition, coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to talk to, believe it or not, we're going to talk to the communications director at Yale College Democrats. And he's going to be joining us from Yale University to discuss his article accusing Tea Party Republicans of rooting for failure. Nothing worse than rooting for failure when it comes to Obamacare and a socialist agenda. So we're going to talk to him and give him a little education at the same time. And then, busy hour, Paul Callan, CNN legal analyst, will join us to talk all about the amazing precedent-setting ruling yesterday with regard to stop and frisk in New York City. And as if that weren't enough, Dr. Chris Mahandi will join us. Police forensic psychologist will join us to talk about more on the LAX shooting today, where they're saying now the gunman who is in custody, who killed a TSA agent and wounded several more, was apparently targeting TSA agents. They say he's 23 years old. And he is in custody. He was shot several times in the chest by a police officer at LAX. So we will bring you all that this hour. But I want you to hear our fine, wonderful, objective media. Let's start, shall we, with CNN. Lindsey Graham was on New Day with Chris Cuomo and what's her name? Kate Bolden. And they had Lindsey Graham on, and Lindsey Graham's talking about how he is going to delay nominations of the president in the Senate until Benghazi witnesses are made available to the Congress for testimony, for interviews, to tell their story. Because this administration is staging a cover-up, a massive cover-up. You should have seen Jeff Greenfield on CNN last night on Anderson Cooper's show at 10 p.m. Eastern. What happened in Benghazi? What cover-up? What are they covering up? There's no story here. This was a terrible, people get killed. Ambassadors and service, people in the service of the U.S., they know they run the risk of getting killed. Really? When you target an ambassador of the United States of America and you kill him, you're declaring war on the United States of America. Now, to Jeffrey Toobin, I'm sorry. To Jeffrey Toobin, that may be nothing. To Jeffrey Toobin, it only may be 4 dead Americans, so what's the big deal? But to the parents of those people killed, to the family of the U.S. ambassador, for the lies told by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, for the cover-up by not letting the people who were there come forward and speak. Why was extra security denied? Why were the Libyan guards there denied the ability to carry weapons? Why was no backup and military sent to help these people out? These are questions that need to be answered. So far, all we have is, what difference does it make, from the woman who would be our next president? But Jeffrey Toobin, this is that, get away, there's nothing, Republicans this, Republicans that. What a slouch, man! I don't even know what slouch is. Yes, I do. Just what a partisan, total partisan. He's a legal analyst. Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, so here's Kate Bowden with Lindsey Graham, cut 15.
Now, I want you to respond to the White House. The White House has said that this isn't about Benghazi at all. They say it's about politics for you. You're up for re-election this year. What do you say to Jay Carney, who was one of the people who said that?
Go tell the parents and the survivors of the 4 dead Americans that it's okay for the administration never to share the witnesses with the Congress so we can validate whether or not what the families were told about Benghazi is true.
Senator, what are the chances you think you're going to get this information? You're going to get access to witnesses? Because quite honestly, the White House says they've gone above and beyond to give you guys information while a criminal investigation is going on. What are the chances you're going to get it?
Very good. That's a bunch of garbage. They haven't provided access to. How can you close the chapter on Benghazi when you've never talked to the witnesses?
Yeah. I mean, hey, Kate, is that her name? Kate Bowden? Yeah, I think so. Really, enough with the White House this and the White House talking points, okay? I mean, my God, if one of those dead Americans was your son, you know what? Those dead Americans belong to all of us. They belong to all of us. They deserved a better fate. Our ambassador died a horrific, horrific death. And one day that will come out. And these men were left there naked. A whole compound was left naked with Libyan guards with no guns. The ambassador's request for more security was turned down. We've learned that the Al-Qaeda in the area, Al-Qaeda had posted on their website 3 targets. They had already hit the other 2. And that compound was number 3. We knew they were going to strike. We knew they struck. And we're still investigating it? And Lindsey Graham wants to get to the bottom of it, and Kate Bowden on CNN is the mouthpiece for the administration? It's so pathetic. It really is pathetic. I saw that in primetime last night or 2 nights ago. CNN had their lowest numbers in the demo, 25 to 54, in a year, with all the changes they made. Because, as I've said, they're reinventing themselves in their own image. Hard to do. Andrea Mitchell, or Mrs. Alan Greenspan, as she should be called. Andrea Mitchell on her MSNBC show laments the fact that Barack Obama can't frighten the GOP into doing what he wants anymore. Yeah, she longs for the days when he could frighten them into doing what he wanted. That's right. That's what she said. Here's cut number 16, folks.
And the other thing in terms of presidential power, polls affect votes. And just now, by a vote of 56 to 42, Mel Watt, who is proposed for a federal housing agency right under Sean Donovan, whom we interviewed yesterday about this very thing, he lost his confirmation. And they're not getting judgeships, important judgeships, district court judgeships. And Mark, this is diminishing the president's clout when he can't frighten, have enough political weight to frighten everybody into line to try to peel off some Republican votes.
He can't frighten everybody into line. Frighten them, Andrea? Frighten them? Is that what you rooted for George Bush to do, to frighten Democrats into line? You are pathetic. But you know what? I'm sure that just like your boss calls Chris Matthews a national treasure, I'm sure you're a treasure too. I'm sure you're a treasure, too. You're a D.C. treasure. You're not a national treasure. You're a D.C. treasure. Wanting good old Barack Obama to frighten those Republicans into line. Pathetic. Pathetic. Speaking of pathetic, Ed Schultz, also of MSNBC, says journalists are being too negative about the wonderful program known as Obamacare. That's right. He's a treasure, too. Let's go to cut number 18.
But I know we're fixated on websites right now. You know what? I think that network reporters throughout the entire industry may be caught in a dilemma that Obamacare is so positive and going to have such a tremendous impact on American life and American society and setting the foundation for better changes in the future. I think that network reporters and people on TV are having a hard time saying something nice about it or positive about it because they might be viewed as journalistically compromised. They're not really showing a great deal of integrity if they say something positive about Obamacare.
Oh, Ed, what kind of treasure are you? You know what we should do? If Chris Matthews is the cream of the crop, according to his boss, and he's a national treasure, we should kind of like put name tags to what kind of treasures Andrea Mitchell is, and Ed Schultz, and Chuck Todd, and Al Sharpton. Oh, I know what kind of treasure Al Sharpton is, but I can't say. On the Steve Malzberg Show, when we come back, we're going to take on the youth of the left from Yale on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Newsmax Magazine is proud to present a special tribute to our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. It's a very special documentary and commemorative issue of Newsmax Magazine celebrating the centennial of President Reagan's birth. First, here's a video clip from the award-winning documentary, Rendezvous with Destiny.
We're in the midst of a springtime of hope for America.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Impulses of an evil empire.
Tear down this wall.
I believe that together we can keep this rendezvous with destiny.
In the next several minutes, you will learn things about President Ronald Reagan that you've never seen, heard, or read before. Welcome to today's special Newsmax event celebrating the life and legacy of President Reagan. During this historic presentation, we will commemorate President Reagan's storied life. We'll revisit his 2 terms in office and recollect his proudest achievements and greatest challenges. Ronald Reagan's life reads like a fairy tale of success stories. He was an accomplished athlete, an honored veteran, a famous actor, the governor of California, and of course, our nation's 40th president.
He called himself a citizen politician and only entered politics when he warned government was gaining too much power. By then he was age 54, with a successful career behind him. Twice elected President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan was a contradiction to some. Once a Democrat, then a Republican. A champion of smaller government whose own government grew. A fiscal conservative who failed to balance the budget. His critics mistook his affability for weakness, but behind the smile and the charm existed an extraordinary leader with unique skills and bold and revolutionary ideas.
we only had time to share just a few of the top defining moments in Ronald Reagan's presidency, but you'll get to see them all in Rendezvous with Destiny. By the way, the president's close relationship with the Pope is especially fascinating. You'll also learn how dealing with an alcoholic father helped shape Reagan's ability to negotiate. And if you ever wondered what the leader of the free world likes to get for the holidays, well, you'll find that out as well. So let's review today in this free offer. We are sending you a copy of Ronald Reagan, Rendezvous with Destiny, and the collector's limited edition of our issue commemorating the 100th anniversary of President Reagan's birth.
Right now, when you subscribe to Newsmax Magazine, you can own both the DVD and receive the special Reagan. Subscribe to Newsmax Magazine. You can own both the DVD and receive the special Reagan. Go to newsmax.com/Reagan13 to subscribe today. Join the millions who read Newsmax Magazine every month.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. And as promised, joining us now is Tyler Blackman. He's communications director at Yale, the Yale College Democrats. And he's about to join us from Yale. And he wrote a piece back on October 4th talking about how Yale. And he wrote a piece back on October 4th talking about how with no other option, the Tea Party has now been actively rooting for the failure of the American economy. Their high-stakes decision to hold the government hostage to delay implementation of the Affordable Care Act will ultimately make or break the Tea Party's legitimacy as a political institution. Now, he's got the hostage in there. He could have said gun to the head. He could have called them jihadists. He could have used all the words that, ransom, kidnappers, all that kind of stuff. Is he ready? All right. As soon as he's ready, I'm sure he'll get a thumbs up. But anyway, all right. As soon as he's ready, I'm sure he'll get a thumbs up. But anyway, also going to talk to him about how the Affordable Health Care Act is working out so far, not only for most Americans, but college students specifically, because many of them have lost their policy. So do we have him yet? We do? We don't? No? Okay. All right. I'll sit here and you want it. Okay, we had a Skype connection with him, which failed, so we're trying to reach him on the phone. But this is going to be good. This is going to be good. He says that the Tea Party in the earliest days rallied support by vowing to defend the American economy from the onslaught of dangerous government overreach. But all of that changed on October 1st when the party shifted in strategy from defending taxpayers to crippling the country's economy. And as we enter the fourth day of the government shutdown, this was written on October 4th, it's important to understand why Tea Party leaders decided that an all-or-nothing stand had become politically necessary. I don't know if the prospects look good for us getting him because we don't have him yet. And the longer we don't have him, the worse the prospects for getting him get. It just is simple mathematics, ladies and gentlemen. Simple mathematics. Yes, no? Yeah, all right. Well, let's welcome in Tyler Blackman, Communications Director, Yale College Democrats. Hey, Tyler, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. All right, well, unfortunately, because of the time it took to get you, we only have about 4 minutes. So so tell me, you're pretty happy with this Obamacare so far, huh?
I think you're missing the point. It's not that I'm pretty happy about Obamacare. I think that people are the Tea Party has actively rooted for its failure.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, do you think that? But do you really think that, Steve? I mean, I'd ask you a question. I mean, do you want the Affordable Care Act to succeed?
No, I want the government to keep its lousy hands out of my health care life. I don't want the government telling me what my health insurance has to be. I don't want them. Wait a minute. You asked me. I don't want to lose my policy, and I don't want to have to buy what the government is telling me to buy. I want the government to leave me alone when it comes to me and my doctor. I'm perfectly capable. You may not be of picking my own health insurance, and as I've done for my whole life, and I'm perfectly happy with it.
Steve, I think that you're mischaracterizing the Affordable Care Act.
Really? How so, Tyler? Do tell.
Because the Affordable Care Act was the premise of the Affordable Care Act is that you do get to choose your own insurance.
Really? Now, what about the millions who are losing it, Tyler? No, you said the premise is you get to choose your own health care insurance. What about the millions who are losing it, Tyler?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that then, because let's look at how the market was structured.
No. Let's talk. I don't have time. I have a few minutes. I'm not going into a technical market structure analysis. What about the lie Obama told for 3 years, Tyler? Tyler, what about the lie? Tyler, what about the lie Barack Obama told for 3 years?
Why you are referring to, I assume, are you talking about the cancellation notices?
Yes,
well,
Tyler.
Let's talk about that. That's affecting 3% of the
No, I don't care.
No. Okay. Now, when you go beyond that, what you're actually talking about is that people are getting these notices because they have changes in their policy. Now, that is exactly what was supposed to happen.
Oh, it was. Oh, just like our president told us, right?
No. Again, you're extrapolating from what he said.
I'm extrapolating. You know, Tyler, I'm so disappointed. If you want to defend a liar, if you want to defend a lie, are you aware of the Forbes magazine article yesterday which quoted from the federal government that back in 2010, the Obama administration was well aware that 97 million people would lose their insurance? Are you aware of that, Tyler?
I read that article, and again, you have to take into account that what the people are getting, they're canceling the policies that they have, and we're improving those policies.
Oh, like giving senior citizens maternity coverage. I see, Tyler. That's an improvement.
Would you rather go back to the system where we were able to charge for pre-existing conditions?
No, you see, you're making a false argument, and someone as smart as you who got 1,600 on their SAT should know that that's a phony choice. It's not either or, my friend. The Republicans have options out there, and they're going to pass a bill in the House that says close the donut hole, keep the pre-existing condition provision, keep the kids on their mommy and daddy's insurance till they're 95, but get rid of all of the intrusiveness, my friend.
That is a huge improvement from what was going on during the shutdown debate, because the shutdown debate was saying that let's just scrap the whole thing and go back to the days when we had a system where we knew it was broken.
Right.
We knew it was broken. We had a system where healthcare costs were rising, and we knew that it was unsustainable.
All right. You know, we have tens of thousands of people in the state of New Jersey, college students, community college students, who are now suddenly uninsured thanks to good old Dr. Obama and his new policies. What do you tell them? It's good for them?
There are a number of things that the Affordable Care Act was able to do in order to solve these problems. The problem is that we have so many governors who are trying to make sure that
that's it. You know what? I got to tell you, Tyler, God forbid you represent the youth of America, because we are so doomed. You know what? Hey, go have another cup of Kool-Aid, Tyler, because you don't want it to wear off, okay? Thanks for joining us for 3 minutes. I appreciate it.
Thanks
All right,
so much.
folks. That's Tyler Blackman, director of the Yale College Democrats. Oh, my goodness. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio. Don't go away. Stop and frisk next.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Do you have trouble remembering things you've known for years? Do you want to maintain your mental edge, support your memory, focus, and attention? After extensive research, Dr. Russell Blaylock discovered 4 essential nutrients that help sustain optimal brain function. Dr. Russell Blaylock then personally formulated Crescio, the dietary supplement containing these 4 brain boosters that promote brain cognitive health, improve learning and retention. Crescio supports brain circulation and provides antioxidant protection. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Crescio. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Crescio.com/special. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, Nature's Brain Boosters, Essential Nutrients for Peak Mental Performance. Give your brain the healthy support it needs. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Crescio.com/special. That's CRESCEO.com/special. Crescio.com/special.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45 non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month, and this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50 non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 20 years. We have great rates for smokers too. Call the Term Lifeline now. 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309.
Bad credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates or low minimum payments, and before you know it, you owe thousands of dollars in credit card debt. It has happened to millions of good people just like you. But here's the good news. Thanks to a powerful program now approved, anyone with $2,000 or more in credit card debt can cut their credit card payments up to half and even reduce or eliminate interest charges altogether. That's right. Our nationwide nonprofit program is helping U.S. residents cut their credit card payments. Call 800-613-3159 now. The call and information are free. We've helped over 500,000 people with their credit card debt, and now we can help you. Call 800-613-3159 to see how this powerful nonprofit program can work for you. Bad credit card debt happens to good people. Get free of credit card debt today. Call 800-613-3159. That's 800-613-3159. Again, 800-613-3159.
Microphones hot. Satellite link established. Studio lights illuminated. Cameras rolling. Audio and video encoders firing ones and zeros. Internet stream. Streaming. The most technology advanced radio show is on the air. Here's the captain of this enterprise, Steve Malzberg.
And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Shortly after we left the air yesterday, humongous ruling from the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which affects New York City's stop and frisk law. Now, you might recall that a judge had ruled several parts of that law unconstitutional. And, of course, there's a mayoral election in New York City next week, which we'll also get to and talk about. But the appeals court ruled that the judge who made the ruling of that parts of this law were unconstitutional did not act properly. They removed her from the case, and this has to be readdressed. A blockbuster decision, almost unprecedented. Joining us now to tell you if I'm right or not is Paul Callan, CNN legal contributor, also former New York City prosecutor. He's also a defense attorney and professor of media law at Seton Hall University. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Oh, how you doing, Steve? Always nice to be with you.
Always good to have you. Okay, so let's tell us what the court said yesterday with regard to the judge's ruling of a few weeks ago.
Well, this was a shocker, an absolute shocker of a decision, because obviously this stop and frisk decision, which is going to handcuff New York City cops and make it a lot tougher for them to fight crime, is a matter of great controversy in New York City, and there's this lawsuit that's pending, and it's up on appeal. Neither side, the city nor the plaintiffs who brought the case, asked for the removal of the judge, Judge Shira Scheindlin. And so it was a surprise to everybody when the appellate court said, you know something? She acted improperly. She probably was in violation of the Code of Judicial Ethics, and we are removing her from the case. I mean, you never hear of this happening with a federal judge. I mean, I can't say that it's absolutely unprecedented, but it's such a rare thing that you'd have to go a lot of years before you'd hear of another case of it happening. So big decision.
Okay, so yeah, talk about the panel, and this was a unanimous decision by 3 judges. They said that she acted improperly, she had a bias, she conducted improper media interviews on the subject. I mean, they really ripped her.
Yeah, they really ripped into her, and 2 of the 3 judges have sort of a liberal reputation. One of them is more on the conservative side. So it was surprising that even the liberals on the panel, or those perceived of as liberals, said, you know something, she's gone way over the line here, and they directly criticized her. Now, what they criticized were a number of things. They said, first of all, the Judge Scheindlin, had invited this lawsuit. She had another case in front of her in which there were a bunch of plaintiffs and, ACLU lawyers who were suing the New York City Police Department. And the judge apparently made a statement in court suggesting that they should bring a lawsuit and ask that it get referred to her to decide the bigger question involved, the stop and frisk question. And she said something like it would only cost you $69, or $65, which is the filing fee. Well, they quickly accommodated and filed this big, massive lawsuit against the city of New York, saying you can't use stop and frisk the way you've used it in the past. And don't you know, it was assigned to Judge Scheindlin. So the appellate judges said it's totally wrong for a judge to invite that a lawsuit be assigned to her personally, because it shows, really, that she's made up her mind before the evidence has even started to be heard. They also criticized a number of other things. She gave press interviews, and I have to say, the federal judges in particular are, it's a real private club. They're appointed by the President of the United States. She was appointed by Bill Clinton, I believe, and they're appointed for life. They're removable generally only on impeachment, and you don't see them get criticized, but they don't give press interviews for the most part. But she gave a press interview while this case was pending, and she said specifically about the government, meaning the city of New York and the U.S. Attorney's Office. She said, I'm not their favorite judge. And she said, I think I treat the government only as one more litigant. And she went on to say basically that she doesn't give them any deference. And she kind of suggested and hinted that she's very tough on the government. Now, judges are supposed to be unbiased. There may be cases where they're tough on the government, but there may be cases where they're tough on the person who's suing the government. They're supposed to make up their mind based on the facts before them and not have a preconceived notion going into the case. And I think the court was very, very disturbed that she had given this interview to the Associated Press, suggesting a sort of a biased attitude against the government going into the case.
We're talking to Paul Callan, criminal defense attorney, CNN legal analyst, former New York City prosecutor, professor of media law at Seton Hall University. Let me ask you, so where, legally speaking, does it go from here? I mean, who appoints a new judge? When does this happen? Where is and what could this new judge do? I mean, does the new judge rehear? Is there a new trial, or does the new judge just look at the decision by the judge who's been ousted and make adjustments to that ruling? How does it work?
Well, lawyers are scratching their heads about this and what the ultimate impact will be. It's going to be assigned to a new judge. And as a matter of fact, I saw a piece this morning as I was headed into the office that the assignment was expected to be made this morning. I think it may already have been made. And the way it's done, Steve, is the way it's supposed to be done is they just put the names of all the judges, in a box and they pull one out. It's a random selection. So we don't, I don't know who it's been assigned to, but I do know this, that the court said the only thing we're deciding is that Judge Scheinlein is inappropriate for this case and we need a new judge. But what that says to me, if the appellate court has said she's inappropriate because she made up her mind, she made statements that were improper and demonstrated bias against the government, how can that not be a very strong hint that her decision has to be reversed? I mean, how could the appellate court, after removing her for bias, uphold a decision that's made by the biased judge?
Right. So leaving it to a new judge, what does that say?
Well, it says to me that this is a very strong hint that if this case goes up now to the full court for a full appeal, it's going to be reversed. It hasn't been reversed yet, but I think there's a strong hint that it would be reversed.
Now,
but
yeah.
Let me throw one other thing into the mixer.
Yeah.
We're going to have a new mayor.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The new mayor, Bill Thompson, if he comes in, the Democrat who is dead set against stop and frisk.
Well, not Bill Thompson. A lot of people.
Bill de Blasio. I'm sorry, Bill de Blasio. And he could just put a stop to this whole thing by taking away the appeal, and then her Scheinblum, the original judge's ruling would stand.
That's right. That's right. If de Blasio comes in and says we're withdrawing the appeal, Scheinblum's ruling would stand. So it'll be and de Blasio has already issued a public statement saying that he's very disappointed and upset with the appellate court's ruling. So I think that there's no question that he'll instruct his corporation counsel to withdraw the appeal. But maybe the case gets fast-tracked also. The appellate court, knowing this might happen, maybe they fast-track the appeal and have it decided under the Bloomberg administration. It's going to be very interesting to see what these judges do.
Right, because Bloomberg is still in there until probably, I don't know if it's January 1st. It works. Yeah, January 1st, whatever. All right, well, we're certainly going to keep an eye on this. And, of course, Police Commissioner Kelly and Mayor Bloomberg were very, very pleased with the ruling by the court yesterday. Something else before I let you go, Paul, and this just struck me. I mean, nobody is a bigger advocate of freedom of speech than I, or than me. I don't know why I said I. But a Texas court of criminal appeals struck down a law yesterday that banned sexually explicit Internet communications between an adult and a minor. Now, yes. I don't get that at all because I don't think you could have that kind of communication in person. Legally, maybe you can. You tell me. So, talk about this crazy decision.
Well, this is the Texas court, and I have to say, you don't expect a sort of liberal approach from the Texas court. I mean, they impose the death penalty probably more than any other court in America, and generally are very conservative in their views. But let me put on my professor of media law hat for a minute, and you and I might have a disagreement on this. The courts are very, very strict about any statutes that restrict free speech. And when they look at a statute that restricts speech content, they look at it in its broadest possible context. In other words, they are not just looking at the guy who's sending a sort of quasi-pornographic speech to a child and saying, should that be criminalized? They're looking at, and as a matter of fact, they cite in the decision plays written by Shakespeare, in which there's certain language that it might be inappropriate to send over the Internet to a child. They refer to 50 Shades of Grey, which, of course, has been a popular pop novel that includes a lot of pornographic phrases.
Right.
So if the law is so broad that it might, in fact, criminalize the publication of works like that, they say we can't accept that statute.
Right, but let me ask you a question. I mean, I see here also that an attorney representing the Texas man who represented a 53-year-old accused of sending sexually explicit text messages to a teen said parents have the job of dealing with this. It's not the government's job. Keep track of who your kids are communicating with. Well, then what about bullying? I mean, then why should why should kids or parents ever be held responsible for their kids who cyberbully?
Well, that's a great point, and don't get me going on bullying because
I mean, I just think I think it's way overreach with this bullying stuff.
Listen, we need some protection in the bullying area, but you know something, a lot of growing up involves learning how to deal with bullies, and you kind of send kids into the world unarmed when we try to create this little perfect world for them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Which we can't do. And so, but on the other hand, of course, bullying's hit a new level with the internet because you can really trash a kid in a way that didn't exist when you and I were growing up.
True, but you could also, you could also reach a kid with perverted, sexual.
Well, that's quite true too. There are all kinds of dangers out there that exist now that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
But getting back to that question, and it's a good one. Parents have a responsibility in the bullying area as well, and but it's very, very hard for them to prosecute parents for the action of a child when they don't know specifically what the child is doing.
Gotcha.
So, and we all have great parents. Sometimes have kids who get in trouble, and the other way around.
Absolutely. Paul, have a great weekend. Thanks for your opinions, your expertise, and your joint talking to you as always.
Always nice being with you, Steve.
Thank you. Paul Callan, ladies and gentlemen, CNN legal analyst, former New York City prosecutor, defense attorney now, professor of media law at Seton Hall University. Very interesting indeed, especially the stop and frisk. So basically the race is on. The race is on to get this through the courts before Bill de Blasio, who presumably will be the next mayor of New York City, can stop this and let that, according to the judge's decision yesterday, that biased decision remain in effect. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Steve Malzberg, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Are you at least 62 years old like me? Could you use an extra $50,000, $100,000 or more to live a better life? Then please consider the benefits a reverse mortgage can provide to you. With a reverse mortgage, you can have your mortgage payments stopped altogether and get equity out of your home to live on. And you can use the money to help you live a better life. How nice would that be, not to have a mortgage payment? Qualifying for a reverse mortgage is simple, since there are no income, asset, employment, or credit requirements. However, you must be 62 years or older, own your home outright, or have a very low balance on the mortgage, and be prepared to live in it throughout the rest of the loan. Call now for more information.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said, "The truth is stranger than fiction." The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy.
Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Final segment of the week. It's been a great week, a busy week, and unfortunately today we had the shooting at LAX where a TSA worker was killed, others were shot and wounded. Joining us now is Dr. Chris Mahandi, who has been with us many times before. He is a police and forensic psychologist with over 20 years of experience, and he also served for the LAPD Behavioral Science Unit. And welcome, Doctor. Good to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you, too. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
Yeah, it's always under these circumstances with us, though,
Yeah.
because it's the nature of the beast, I guess. But, you know, right now, what we know is that the gentleman, the shooter's name, the alleged shooter's name is 23-year-old Paul Anthony Ciancia, who was shot and taken into custody. He lives in New Jersey, apparently texted his brother in New Jersey before the shooting and said he was thinking of killing himself. What could we learn from this incident where he walks into the airport to a security checkpoint with an assault weapon or some kind of an AK-47 or something in a bag, pulls it out and starts shooting?
Well, if that's true, what he texted his brother, what we're looking at here is a suicide by cop situation. What suicide by cop is when a person engages in real or actual or apparent danger to others in their bid to commit suicide, and that you know that the folks at the airport are taking security very seriously, and unfortunately, it sounds like he may have manipulated those officers down there that he knew were there into participating unwillingly in his suicide in this situation. So it looks like a suicide by cop if that information is true.
Yeah, this is. I just want to clear up. This is from usnews.nbcnews.com, where it says that he texted his brother in New Jersey before the shooting, said he was thinking of killing himself. This, according to what police told NBC Philadelphia.
Yeah, and if that is true, that would be very consistent with suicide by cop. And what a lot of people don't realize is if this is a suicide by cop, a good portion of the people that will actually commit suicide using the police to do it will actually do so by posing a real risk and danger to others with tragic results. Sometimes law enforcement, the brave men and women, giving the ultimate sacrifices this person from TSA apparently did. So, fortunately, most suicidal people are not dangerous to others, but those that are bent on suicide by cop, there's a portion of them that actually can be. And it's so important to take seriously when people are thinking about hurting themselves and to get them into hell before something tragic like this happens. And about 1/3 of all police shootings can be categorized as suicide by cop. It's a phenomenon that's been growing in recognition that we've been seeing over the last 10, 15 years.
Let me throw another wrinkle into this, and we know that in the past the media, especially in my view, the liberal media, has been quick to blame the Colorado shooting. They tried to say that he was influenced by Sarah Palin's website. Timothy McVeigh supposedly was a Rush Limbaugh fan. All these crazy cockamamie things, which turn out not to be true, but they are reporting, for what it's worth, that he had anti-government writings with him or on his person. So is one of the other mutual, and that he targeted or TSA agents and even asked, according to some reports, are you a TSA agent? And if they said no, he passed them by, and if they said yes, he shot. So, are the two mutually exclusive, or might he, decided to go after a certain target even though he intended suicide by cop?
Absolutely. If that information is true, and that's a big if until it's validated by the professionals that are looking into this and taking this very seriously so they can understand exactly what it is. But if that information is true, it basically suggests that the individual made some decisions about the form of his suicide attempt, and that it would include a homicide-suicide component, so that his ideology could be part of his violent impulses, and that's not unheard of. People will, there are some people that when they do suicide by cop, one of the reasons is because of anger or hatred of law enforcement. And in this case, if that information proves true, it could be a way of him in his taking of his own life through these actions, if true, that he could fulfill his other agendas. So it's often multiple motivations to a circumstance and situation. So it would not be unheard of, no.
All right. Well, very quickly, because we have less than a minute, and you're not going to be able to do it justice. But what frightens me about this is, I guess they knew this anyway, but this says, hey, terrorists, 10 of you could pull up and do this all at the same time, and you could kill, maybe hundreds of people.
I'm not following the question.
It's an example. In other words, it shows that one guy with a gun, managed to shoot, 6, 7 people, and it just shows a flaw. I know he was stopped eventually.
Yes and no. You can highlight the vulnerability part, but you can also highlight the fact that that's why we have these brave men and women at checkpoints at the airports to deal with whether it's lone individuals with a personal mental agenda or others. The good news, we lost some. The bad news is we lost some. The good news is we had brave men that put themselves in harm's